So I wanted to do something special this Halloween, so we're checking out both expansions for F.E.A.R, and we're looking at the second and final expansion pack called Perseus Mandate. This came out in 2007, made by Timegate Studios.
Perseus is mine. Get it back. I don't care what you have to do.
We're in.
Perseus Mandate is a horror FPS with slow motion and good gameplay, but if you didn't know that, you should probably watch my original F.E.A.R review. I talk a lot about basic things that I won't talk about in this video. Either way, it's been a tradition to review F.E.A.R on Halloween, even though this expansion isn't as scary.
Your mission is to secure ArmyCam's Global Data and Security Center and retrieve any information related to a project codenamed Perseus.
Which is one of the first controversial things about this expansion. F.E.A.R is known for being a good mix of an FPS and a horror game, but Perseus Mandate heavily leans on the FPS side of things. Not to say that there aren't scary moments, a lot of people just prefer the direction that F.E.A.R 1 and Extraction Point were going in. But my first hot take is that I'm a fan of old school FPSs, and I do like F.E.A.R's horror elements a lot, but I don't mind an expansion pack leaning more towards the horror or leaning more towards the combat. Like, I'm able to turn off my brain a bit and just get into the combat and focus on killing everybody. And you'll be killing a lot in this expansion. There's some bigger areas that can be a gift and a curse with the level design, but it can still be fun just blasting enemies. You'll get a lot of cool guns to play with, like the HV Penetrator and the ASP rifle, but there's also a few new weapons like this night vision rifle that doesn't have the most visually appealing scope when you zoom in, but I'm pretty sure it's stronger than the regular assault rifle, so why not? But then you get the grenade launcher, which feels like a fun death trap. You gotta be careful with this thing. It's strong, but the way it bounces could be unpredictable. Don't blow yourself up. And then we have the lightning arc. It feels strong, but I guess you can't be too far away with it. It's better than the grenade launcher and it's pretty cool, but not my favorite power weapon. I'm a big fan of things like the particle weapon, the laser carbine, the repeating cannon, and the minigun. It's fun having a crazy arsenal and that you have too many tough decisions on which guns to keep because they're so good. But admittedly, I can play really safe taking advantage of reflex time every second I can, so I conserve my ammo a little too well. But even playing this safe, there were still some challenging parts of the game, probably the most difficult in these first F.E.A.R games. Some of it is genuinely difficult, but some of it is artificially difficult, like some enemies instantly doing over half your health, or these new enemies that people don't seem to like, understandably. I didn't hate them, but they're really strong for no reason. Like, I don't mind them being really fast with that little dash, but they do have a lot of health, feeling stronger than they should be. There's also the new Nightcrawlers that take place of the replicas for this expansion. They're not too different, but they're a little more bland than the regular replica soldiers. F.E.A.R is known for its great AI, but I heard these guys are a little bit worse. I'm not big into the story, but I know this takes place during the original F.E.A.R, and that you and your squad are trying to get this source that the Nightcrawlers were ordered to get. That's also why you get some AI homies here and there throughout the campaign. It can be cool having them on your side and shoot with you. Even though they can technically damage you, I still like the company. You're also this new character that isn't the point man, so I don't know if having slow motion makes sense or not, or why Paxton or Alma give a shit about us, but screw it, I'm along for the ride. This is the type of game that I have to be told a story after I play the game so I can put all the pieces together. I'm too distracted by the shooting even though I'm paying attention. Maybe that means this expansion is slightly more in my favor, but I understand where all the F.E.A.R enthusiasts are coming from. This is definitely the least favorite expansion and maybe even the least favorite part in all of F.E.A.R. At least it's not canon to the main series and storyline. But one of the bigger reasons for all that hate is the graphics and presentation. I'm not one to complain about graphics, and I didn't when I was playing the game, but I understand the point that this came out in the same year as Halo 3, COD 4, and Crysis. Like, the original F.E.A.R was graphic intensive for its time, while Perseus Mandate can't compete with those other games that I mentioned. I needed other people to point out that some of the textures and areas looked very amateur, especially in those first areas, as well as some of the lighting, and the game looked a little too sci-fi for some original F.E.A.R fans. The quality is overall down compared to F.E.A.R 1 and Extraction Point, so I understand the hate that this expansion gets. Expansion packs are supposed to be unique or great experiences that build off the original game, or at least simply fun. Like, these aren't DLCs. Expansion packs have high standards. And it looks like Perseus Mandate doesn't reach that standard for a lot of people. Not to mention that you can't play multiplayer, but it's cool that you can look at this browser and even your online profile. It makes me imagine what it was like back in the day. They should remaster F.E.A.R and bring this back. Another critique from my fellow content creators out there is the weird resolution when recording, but maybe that's just me. It's an easy fix anyway. Speaking of fixes, I never got that horrible lag that I would get in F.E.A.R 1 and Extraction Point, which was really surprising. I don't know if it's because I downloaded this fix that I'll link in the description, but I was able to play and record full sessions with no problem, which was a big deal to me. It made it much more smooth of a playthrough. It took me about 5.5 hours to beat the campaign, which is longer than Extraction Point, but shorter than F.E.A.R 1. There's 7 intervals, but some parts are longer than others. Going through so many levels in a short amount of time can keep it interesting. And if you're one of the people who actually enjoy this game, you get 3 bonus levels for beating the game. 2 of them are like regular levels going from point A to point B, and these were my favorites. But there's also this arena mode that I didn't feel like getting into, to be honest. I guess I prefer exploring and having somewhere to go. But it's nice having additional content to look forward to, especially after the multiplayer's not playable anymore. It's good to have timeless content that doesn't require internet, but apparently some people would randomly get kicked because the game thought they were in a server, but that just didn't happen to me. So yes, this expansion has a lot to critique, and I get why some people hate it. I just think it's a little overhated. I don't like to use number ratings anymore, but some people were talking like this was a 2 or a 4 out of 10, but I enjoyed it like it was a 6 or 7 out of 10. Maybe that's because I'm not caring about how insignificant this expansion is and I'm just enjoying shooting enemies in the face. I also played on high difficulty, so it was a good challenge at times. As someone who looks for the good in things, I found enough good in this expansion, and some that I didn't mention, like me enjoying the cutscenes a bit, and me enjoying the final boss fight in that final showdown, and me just overall enjoying my experience. I think I'm just a sucker for F.E.A.R, and I'll happily take more of it. I first played this in early 2020, and I don't remember the hate this expansion got until I did research this time. I played it long enough ago where mostly everything felt new to me, but there were still some memorable moments like this badass part where you get chased by a giant mech.
Get those gates open!
So, if you ask me in my casual opinion, yes, I think Perseus Mandate is still worth playing. It's not a must-play like the original F.E.A.R and Extraction Point, but it has pretty good combat and just barely enough horror elements. It's slightly overhated. It's not peak F.E.A.R, but after playing Extraction Point, I think you might as well play Perseus Mandate at that point, at least once. I don't know how often you guys replay a game like F.E.A.R, but I think it's worth playing Perseus Mandate at least once to form your own opinion on it. You might as well, because if you have F.E.A.R 1 on Steam, then you definitely have the expansion packs because they're all weirdly bundled together on Steam. I recommend using a key site that you trust, and it can be much cheaper. I know F.E.A.R isn't the most accessible game ever, but if you wait for a sale or get a key and download the fix if you need to, it's pretty easy and cheap to get things started. This game is old, so it should be easy to run, and I'm not sure if the console versions are worth playing. I heard they might not be, but I don't know. Either way, it's low-key a little sad that this is the last content of F.E.A.R 1, but at least that means we get to move on to F.E.A.R 2.
The adopter of her childhood stole her children.
which also doesn't have the best reputation, but with my type of positivity, I'm sure I'll find some redeeming factors. All I know is that it's fun checking out F.E.A.R on Halloween, and it was the perfect excuse and goal to upload both expansions this Halloween. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and any kind of support is appreciated if you did. I'm sure I'll get some hate about my casual positivity, but whatever. That's what the comments are for. Let's get a discussion going. There's not too many reviews on this expansion, so it's fun being a part of history. I'll show you more of my favorite comments from my first F.E.A.R video to give you guys a bit of a spotlight. It's fun and gives you more of a reason to comment.
Killing me won't stop them.
But until F.E.A.R 2, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It means a lot that you made it this far and that you went through this journey with me. I don't play many horror games, but I had to for the occasion. Hopefully I'll see you guys in another one of my F.E.A.R reviews after this, but thanks for watching. Have a happy and safe Halloween. Peace.
Losses.
Acceptable.